Welcome back to Classic Firearms, everybody. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Matt. What's up, everybody?
And I have the CZ-50 pistol.
And I have the CZ-70 pistol.
And today we're gonna talk about these two pistols, what's similar about them, what's different about them. So if you're interested in anything surplus that may be in the 40s or the 70s design language, this may be the video for you. But first, we're gonna talk tech specs, and then we're gonna go tip to butt differences. After that, we are going to measure the device. We are going to measure the gun.
They are devices.
They are
to be fair.
From height and length, we're gonna weigh it so that way you know exactly how much this pistol that you may be looking into weighs, and then we're also gonna get a trigger pull gauge on each to see kind of how they stack up versus one another, and then also information for you because this information is not readily available anymore. So finding this stuff can be a little bit difficult. But first things first, we are going to dive right into the tech specs, and I'm gonna let you take this one away if you don't mind, Matt.
Sure. So maybe the first thing's not quite so technical, but talking about nomenclature. So we introduced these as the CZ-50 and the CZ-70. So they are made by CZ from Czechoslovakia, but technically they are the VZ-50 and the VZ-70. VZ is short for Vzor, and even though I have Polish heritage, I'm not great at Eastern European pronunciation.
I was about to ask, is that how that's pronounced? Because it doesn't sound quite right.
VZOR, Vzor, which basically just means model. So VZ is an abbreviation kind of like M16, like model, right? But it is very commonly referred to in commercial use in the US as the CZ-50 and a CZ-70. So just kind of throw that out there for y'all guys. Both of these are in 32 ACP. That's 7.65 Browning or 7.65 by 17 millimeter. They both shoot from an 8-round detachable magazine, and they are both direct blowback fixed barrel pistols. Physically very reminiscent of, say, like a Walther PPK. And that's fairly common for a lot of Eastern European pistols in that Cold War era after, like, starting in the 40s.
So what you're telling me is James Bond might have carried one of these.
Well, so James Bond did use a 32 ACP Walther PPK, and this is at least visibly very reminiscent of it. So if you're looking for, you know, a pistol to go with your cosplay or something, then this could be a good.
I say that as funny because we just did a James Bond cosplay with Kaya over on the main channel. It's an intro. It's good.
Okay.
It works.
Okay, sure.
Anyway, continue.
Again, so these are traditional double action, single action pistols. So again, we'll just, you know, go ahead and make sure that the pistol is clear. All right, so you can see with the safety off and the hammer back, I can pull the trigger and hammer drops, and then I can also pull the trigger, hammer goes back and then drops. Also, you can see that there's a little bit of a rebounding hammer if you pay attention. So you'll see when this hammer drops, it actually bounces back. So you'll see there's a little bit of a rebound to it.
We're gonna get some good B-roll of that because it is hard to see, but yes, I do see exactly what you're talking about.
Now, being that these are fixed barrel direct blowbacks, disassembling these things is super simple. There's basically one takedown button, slide comes off, and then there's a recoil spring. Other than that, I mean, the barrel is permanently affixed to the frame, and that's really all you have to take down.
The frame itself is steel, correct?
Yeah, these are old school solid metal pistols.
Yeah, it is got a little bit of weight to it, but it feels very, I want to say balanced might be the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it's very kind of pointable. Now, the sights on these are nothing to write home about, pretty low profile sights. Keep in mind that these were originally introduced as kind of police officer pistols. And that might seem strange to somebody in our modern age because 32 ACP is not a very popular self-defense kind of cartridge nowadays, but it was very popular for both civilian self-defense and police applications in the kind of first half of the 20th century. Keep in mind that the 32 ACP was invented by John and Moses Browning all the way back in 1899. It is an old cartridge, and people really did, even in some certain military applications, there were officers in militaries who carried 32 ACPs.
Really?
Now, present day, I think that a lot of people would consider that given the prevalence of small frame 9mm, that you're not gonna look at too many people using the 32 ACP as a self-defense cartridge. But I do think that, you know, with full metal jacket ammunition, which was a little bit of an odd recommendation, that this could function as a self-defense handgun. And modern 32 ACP pistols, you have things like the Keltec P32 that is so super slim and small that there is maybe a place for that in the self-defense market.
Well, and two things I wanted to touch on real quick. these are definitely surplus too. So just to clarify on that, you can see some wear and tear on these guys. They do show it, but that is because they have been used and they are surplus. Another thing I wanted to point out for those of you who may not know, I did not know this before starting this video or before talking with Matt about it. The 32 ACP is right in between what, a 22 and a 380 kind of size?
Yeah, so if you think about like, so 380 ACP is 9 by 17 millimeter.
Yeah.
So 32 ACP is 7.65, so slightly smaller than 9 millimeter by 17 millimeter. So it's basically the same length as a 380,
Yeah.
but it's a substantially smaller cartridge in diameter. So one of the reasons why I had suggested the full metal jacket is because with full metal jacket, you're going to get that about 18 inches of penetration that you're looking for a self-defense cartridge, as opposed to jacket at hollow points, which would normally be kind of your self-defense suggestion, probably fall short of what we would want to see for penetration for self-defense. But again, when you talk about these pistols specifically, they were issued as police officer pistols, as well as commercially being available for civilians.
And that's always cool because, I mean, we get a lot of, LEO trade-ins, but how often do you get a 1940s and 1970s LEO trade-in?
Yep. Why don't we go into kind of some of the tip-to-butt differences?
Sure. So I'll kind of start with the 50 here a little bit. Now, some of the things I did notice, most of it was cosmetic, is what it seemed like. That this is the older version. Again, I mentioned 40s and 70s because this was made and designed and produced in the 1940s, whereas this one was more in the 70 era. So they were used for quite a long time, but that does lead to some upgrades. Now, here you can see I have more of a horizontal line on my grip, whereas you have more of, what would you call that?
Kind of a stippling, right? So at least on the sides, we have this dot matrix kind of stippling. There's still some line grooves in the back, kind of similar to that.
But these wrap around completely, whereas those are separated out just a little bit.
That's true. And there is a difference to the profile. You can see that there's a greater kind of palm swell on the 70 than on the 50.
Yep, I do see that. And now the hammer on the 50 is a little bit different as well. This one in particular is a 70 hammer.
That's correct. So the 50 has a smaller rounded hammer that does not have that hole in the middle.
Yep.
Because these are mechanically effectively the same pistol, it's not uncommon for pistols of this age to see some replacement parts. And in fact, you might see 70 style grips on a 50. In this case, we see a 70 style hammer here. But typically you would expect to see a smaller rounded hammer here on the 50, and that this would be the style of hammer for the 70, which larger, it's got the serrations on it, and that hole in the middle.
So also I wanted to notate that we do have our takedown button here. Mine continues that kind of line design with that here, and yours kind of continues that almost like dot matrix almost.
Yeah, so instead of just being vertical line serrations, this has like a, again, kind of like a stippling or something. It's almost like a hash pattern, right?
And I do notice the 70 is also more squared off, whereas this is more rounded here.
That's true, yeah. So, there's a lot of the changes are in the textural elements and stuff. So it's almost like they just said, hey, we want to be able to more positively engage with the pistol, even though mechanically the pistols function the same.
I agree. And now the biggest thing I think you can identify really quickly on the 70, and other than the branding on the side, is actually the serrations. So these ones here, in my opinion, appear to be a little bit deeper, more uniform. These are cut out in they almost look like they changed size just a little bit.
Yeah, so they changed not just the size of the cuts, but also the number of them, right? So you have kind of more cuts in the serrations. But yeah, so if we kind of put these up one above the other, maybe we can get a better view where you can see that while similarly placed, they are slightly different.
Yeah, it's very minute. And again, so one thing that's interesting is, now we'll talk about the similarities, obviously with the parts and stuff. Pricing. They're identically priced, right around that, 270 to 300 plus mark, somewhere right in that ballpark. But they're basically identically priced. So when you're picking one over the other, you kind of are just picking those cosmetic differences on which one you may want to hold, grip, and use. Similarities again, so the slides, very similar.
Yes.
There is not much different. The sights are the same. There is no difference there. They're both kind of concaved in on the rear sights, which, classic CZ, might I add, but
there's a slight difference in the base plate of the magazine.
Oh, yes.
So you can see there's a little bit different of a contour between them. And again, this is definitely an element also because here, you take that one, I'll take this one. You can see that the magazines are the same. They both lock into place. So you might see that your magazine is for the opposite pistol due to just the kind of vagaries that go on between 1970 and now and where it's gone through so many hands. But, you know, again, I think that importantly, there's a number of the cosmetic improvements, but mechanically, the pistols function the same, and I think they both still do a great job for what they are.
Yeah, absolutely. So also another feature I wanted to point out that is the same across the board. You do have obviously your safety and decocker.
Yep. So this one is a little bit stiff, but you can see this one also functions.
Yep. And I feel like they do function just a little bit differently. Hang on. So do yours one more time. It looks like when you push it down, it goes 2 clicks. Yeah. So just a little bit of a difference there between them.
I kind of wonder if that's just, again, because they are surplus, some of these need a decent cleaning and stuff. Maybe there's something in this pistol that's kind of, it's catching a little bit as I actuate the lever, but.
Very possible.
But yeah, I mean, so I think that these are super cool. Of course, you know, when you look at surplus, one of the things that's really cool is collecting guns from around the world.
Yes.
So if you're looking for Czech guns, you're a big CZ fan, then certainly this would be a reason to buy one if you like that whole cult CZ group.
And when you go to the range, you might even be able to claim that I have a better version of the James Bond gun.
There you go. Yeah.
So now let's go ahead and kind of move on to, unless if there's anything else that you thought of that we could talk about.
No, I think, yeah, going to kind of some of those measurements would be a great idea.
So we have weight, length and height, and then trigger pull. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do the dimensions, the weight and height.
All right, cool.
Height and length.
Got it. I actually happen to have that right on me.
Oh, look at that.
So
he's prepared. He's a Boy Scout, folks.
my expectation is that these are going to be identical, right? They should not be any different from one another.
Taking and trying to put the muzzle right there at 0, and if we're measuring what, to the very back here?
Yep, so let's show the camera as well. So go ahead and pick the gun up, and then I'm gonna hold it this way, and you align.
All right, so right about there. So we're at what, 7 6 3/4-ish?
Mm-hmm, it's really right on there. And then I'm gonna see this one real quick. I mean, it looks like that 6 1/2, 6 3/4, right in that same ballpark. I mean, they are, again, mechanically we know that these things operate very similarly, so that is my expectation. And then height on this one, I don't know if you can see that, so I kind of just laid it down trying to get an overall height idea.
All right, I'm getting 4 3/4-ish
Sure.
right there.
So just under 5. And then yours?
Yeah, let's right here real quick.
Yeah, right about. So it really depends on where that base plate ends.
Yeah, it sort of depends on where exactly you're measuring to, right, guys? So, like, you know, if I kind of do right there, it's going to be right at the same thing. Again, you know, basically identical sizes.
Yep. Okay. So now what I'm hoping is a little more different. I'm gonna grab the scale, and we have to walk off screen for this one, but I'm gonna grab the scale, put it on the table, and we're gonna go ahead and see exactly if they're the same weight or not.
All right. Oh, wow, look at that.
That was quick.
Yeah.
All right, so scales on the table. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do the original.
Okay. So with the mag in it, you can see the number before we can see it. So now let's prop it up. We're looking at 1.53 pounds. I think...
I can't imagine there's going to be much more of a difference.
But you do have more of a palm, so I'm going to guess 1.55.
1.55, all right.
Not much different.
Let's try that. All right.
You can see it. Was I right?
1.50.
Oh, so they lightened it up.
Interesting.
Hang on, let's do that. Go one more time. I want to go back over here. Yeah, 1.53.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, 1.50.
So there's a little bit more material on here with the base plate being filled in and that palm swell. So I just assumed it might be a little bit heavier. So I assumed wrong.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's counterintuitive, right?
It is. All right, now for the last thing, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab the trigger gauge and we'll get the scale table. So, Toodles.
I don't know where he went. I've got it the whole time. So
Really? I was looking for that. He just didn't say anything. He let me make myself look like a fool.
You do a good enough job yourself. So, all right, guys. So with the trigger pull test here, again, we're gonna I'm gonna take the mag out. We're gonna double check it again. Just, you know, again, just super safe.
And we do always check every gun before. So let's do this. I'll hold it and you go ahead and do that trigger pull. Right. I'm gonna press it down into the table and hold it as steady as possible.
All right.
In 3, 2. Got a little bit of movement on my end there.
Yeah, so I got 9 pounds 1 ounce. Try that one more time.
Try it one more time, and I'm gonna really try and hold it down a little harder now.
All right, ready?
3, 2. That was a good one.
Okay, yeah, 5 pounds 13 ounces, so just under 4.
That kind of is more in line. I would assume like right in that 5 to 6 pound mark.
So we're gonna do this because we had that mess up the first time. We're gonna do it one more time.
Okay, got it. In 3, 2.
5.96, so a little bit lighter. Yeah.
Okay.
So 5.5 to
It's right around 6 pounds.
Yeah.
Now I do want to see that double action though. So this one will be hard to hold steady.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be like, my guess is like 10 to 12 pounds, maybe a little more. It felt pretty heavy.
All right, so get that on there.
Yep. In 3, 2.
All right. 9.
It actually, so it stops at about 10 pounds. Like it can't go above 10 pounds. So it's above 10 pounds.
Yeah.
On the trigger pull, which makes sense. That it does feel heavy.
And for a service pistol, I don't know that I would think that that's unusual, right? So
No.
when you have a kind of a service pistol, you're going to typically expect a fairly heavy double action trigger pull.
Yeah.
And then a much lighter, single action.
And just to be clear, that was the CZ-70 and this is the CZ-50, just so you guys can keep track of it.
Let's see if things got better or worse over time.
That feels better.
Ooh, 4.34.
Now, I think this one's probably just more worn in.
Another good point about surplus pistols is that, because of varying amounts of use, some things are going to be really smooth just from use.
Oh yeah, let's get one more on that.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Do you think well, hold on, I'll wait for that. Ask that question. Go ahead. Oh yeah.
4.62.
It is
It's a whole pound
lighter. But, oh yeah, I don't think the scale is gonna max out on this one like it did with the other one.
Okay.
So let's try the double action.
Double action.
And 3, 2.
Ooh, it's a.
Oh, it did go above 10.
It did.
So it counted it at 11, but it actually got the reading this time, whereas it wouldn't even get the reading with that one. So, but I could tell you just from feeling it, the CZ-50 trigger is significantly lighter. I'm talking by at least a pound. And that kind of proves it with the single action there.
Yeah.
So with that being said, that's pretty much all the measurements. Do you have any other notes or anything on these guys?
No, again, I think that, whenever you have a chance to pick up kind of a piece of history, it's always really cool. So if you like collecting police style firearms, surplus style firearms, Cold War specifically style firearms, Czech firearms, or if you're a big fan of old school calibers like 32 ACP.
Yeah.
And again, when you have that small caliber in a metal framed pistol, this is going to be super nice to shoot.
Oh yeah, I imagine this is going to be very flat.
Maybe you're just looking for a plinker and something that's got a small caliber. It's easy to teach people on, younger shooters, smaller shooters, and with the weight of the metal frame, it's going to be super easy to control.
Oh yeah. So with that being said, that's all we have for you guys today on the CZ and VZ 70. So 50 and 70. If you guys have any experiences with these guys or even anything pretty similar to these in 32 ACP, because I'm curious about that, please leave a comment below. We would love to see your comments down there. I know we are creating a pretty good community at this point where people will leave their personal, hey, I have used this and it's great, or I've used this and it sucks, here's why, or answering questions for other people. I've seen that a lot in the comments, so thank you guys for that, because to be honest with you, I wouldn't really have a job if it wasn't for you guys. So I appreciate that very much. With that being said, God bless.
God bless.
Stay safe. It is time to end.
And
hey, you want to go shoot these?
yeah, let's do it.